And we begin off the top with breaking news out of Boulder County, where a wildfire broke out in the Fourmile Canyon area.
Hundreds of people were sent out evacuation notices. This map from BOCO Alerts shows who's in those zones. People in the 500 block of Wild Turkey Trail were told to leave their homes immediately. Others were warned there was a possibility they may have to leave.
9 News reporter Rachel Krause is live for us in Boulder County. Rachel, crews seem to be making some good progress here.
Yeah, fire crews tell us that the fire is now under control, but they are still in the area keeping a close eye on it to make sure that it is out. And they still have a lot of that area blocked off. Now, only a few residents who live in the Fourmile Canyon area ended up coming down to the Boulder County Justice Center for shelter here earlier in the evening. But around 660 people were given evacuation warnings or orders when the fire first kicked up around 6 o'clock this evening. Boulder County first got reports of a fire along Wild Turkey Trail around 5:50 this evening after calls of a fire. Graham Sharp was home when two men came to his gate at his home near Fourmile Canyon, reporting smoke. He called 911. They'd had windy weather all week, and tonight he watched in shock as the fire quickly spread.
Right there, we knew we were in trouble. I mean, we knew that the evacuation was going to start, and so that's why we started grabbing passports and everything, valuables, dogs and cats first, of course, and then go down from there. So, yeah. So I think we've lucked out. I really do. But these men are awesome men. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm just glad I can help.
And Graham actually did help for a while. They gave him a vest and he was helping to direct traffic as different fire crews and agencies were navigating in the area earlier. Now, Carolyn Walkner is the fire chief of the 4 Mile Fire District. She says about 1.25 miles ended up burning this evening in that fire. It's under control now, but she says crews are still mopping up the area and they expect to be in the area until that they're comfortable that it's out. Now, nobody was hurt in the fire, according to Walkner. Reporting live in Boulder, Rachel Krause, 9 News.
All right, that is the good news. Rachel, thank you. And that is what we've been talking about and been worried about for days now, especially with those winds. And Kathy's talking about more of it tomorrow.
And temperatures in the 70s today, yeah. Kathy. I mean, worst case scenario.
I feel like we've talked about this every day and every week for the last 2 months. The 2 months that are some of our snowier months, and we're so far below average in terms of snowfall. The red flag warning, fire weather warning canceled at 5 for the foothills as winds started to decrease, humidities came up, temperatures came down, and then off went that grass fire in that Boulder County area. The winds, we're seeing some gusts in some of the foothill and mountain passes, 30 to 40 miles per hour, but things have calmed down considerably. Today was one of those days with temperatures way above average. We didn't break a record. We smashed it. 76 in Denver, almost 80. The record was 70, but the average high this time of year is 43. Temperatures this hour are still very mild. We're still in the mid-50s, but thankfully the wind is much lighter. Some relief may be coming for the mountains in the form of snow later this week, maybe as early as Christmas Day. Temperatures stay mild in Denver tonight with light winds, and coming up much more on the elevated foothill fire danger for tomorrow and the timing and impact of potential mountain Christmas snow.
Kathy, thank you. A judge has accepted guilty pleas for the owners of the Return to Nature funeral home in Penrose, where nearly 200 decaying bodies were discovered. Prosecutors say John and Carrie Halford maintained a lavish lifestyle while giving fake ashes to some families between 2019 and 2023. A judge denied the couple's first plea deals after families of the victims argued they were too lenient. As part of these new agreements, John faces between 30 and 50 years in prison. Carrie's sentence would range from 25 to 35 years. John will be sentenced in February, Carrie in April. The Halfords have also admitted in federal court to defrauding the federal government of nearly $900,000 in pandemic-era aid and taking payments from customers for cremations the funeral home never performed.
An immigration activist who'd been in ICE detention in Aurora since March is now out on bond. Jeanette Vizguera was released today. The American Friends Service Committee, which has worked alongside her legal team, says she posted a $5,000 bond, though the challenge to her order for removal is not over yet. Vizguera was also taken into custody outside of the Target where she worked back in March. She has made national headlines for seeking refuge in a church to avoid deportation during President Trump's first term, even being listed in Time's 100 Most Influential People list. We expect to hear from Vizguera during a press conference tomorrow at noon.
Democrats in Colorado will meet tomorrow to decide who will serve out the rest of State Senator Faith Winter's term. The 45-year-old Democrat spent 11 years in the state legislature representing Broomfield. She was killed in a series of crashes on I-25 near Denver the day before Thanksgiving. The Arapahoe County Sheriff's Office says she was at fault for a secondary crash in which she rear-ended a truck. The truck did not have visible brake lights. An autopsy revealed Winter had also been drinking. She had publicly struggled with alcohol dependency in the past. A vacancy committee will meet at 6:30 tomorrow night to choose a new state senator to represent Broomfield.
New tonight, dozens of people are back on the ground after getting stuck on a ski lift along the western slope. It happened at Powderhorn Resort this afternoon. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office says a lift experiences a mechanical issue and it stopped. 57 people had to be removed over the span of roughly 2 hours with the help of Ski Patrol and Mesa County Search and Rescue. Thankfully, no one was hurt. There was a similar situation at the same resort back in September. 37 people were helped off a lift that experienced a mechanical issue. No one was hurt in that situation either. We're working to figure out if that's the same lift that was involved in both situations. It's a yes from Denver City Council. Tonight, they greenlit $50 million in funding for infrastructure around Denver Summits FC's incoming stadium.
It hasn't been the smoothest process, as we've been telling you. 9 News reporter Shalima Maharaj is outside city and county buildings. Shalima.
Good evening. You know, it wasn't unanimous, but it was overwhelming. 10 out of 13 councilors voting in support of this project. However, there were a number of concerns when it comes to the project. For instance, financing for it and the effect that it would have on the immediate community around it. Now, there were several ordinances on the docket that would change the zoning at Santa Fe Yards and free up the $50 million needed to actually purchase the land for the new soccer stadium. Approval for the stadium deal was caught up in a political battle, and there were trust issues between City Council and the mayor's office on just where city money would be allocated, delaying the process. And during that delay, Summit FC owner Rob Cohen said the team had been looking at alternative solutions. Tonight, he's breathing a sigh of relief.
I mean, there's still some T's to cross and I's to dot. As you know, as you heard, this is a complicated transaction, so there's still work to be done. But, you know, this has been a process. This has been the focus that we've had since day one, and it's just nice to get over that hurdle.
We think this is a great capital investment that will both drive a huge return on our taxpayer investment. We'll also make sure we have access to own that land long term if anything ever changes.
Now, Cohen isn't naming names when it comes to those communities that they had been in conversation with. He says they're all subject to an NDA. In the meantime, the hope is to open that stadium in 2028. Reporting live in Denver, Shalima Maharaj, 9 News.